The sideshow, or what was once called the freak show, has mostly disappeared from British and American soil today. But we can still revisit the circus oddities of the past and see how they became legends, or even myths within the circus realm. Yet the real lives behind those myths are often just as captivating as what they looked like on stage, or what they could do. And in this video, you'll meet some of the most unusual circus freaks you won't believe actually existed. Number 15. Nikolai Kobalkov. Nikolai came into the world with no arms and legs. As the 14th child in a farming family, survival was already a feat. But Nikolai didn't just survive, he thrived. With only short stumps and minimal bone structure, he taught himself to perform basic tasks using his cheek, shoulder, and remarkable determination. He could write, feed himself, thread a needle, and even shoot out a candle flame with a pistol. He performed across Europe and America, astounding royalty and commoners alike. Tsar Alexander III, Kaiser Wilhelm, and Queen Wilhelmina all witnessed his talents. On stage, he wrote clearly, cut paper, and loaded a pistol with flawless timing. He even dabbled in acrobatics. Off stage, his life was no less unique. He married Austrian actress Anna Wilfert, raised 6 fully limbed kids, and built a popular toboggan ride in Vienna. Kobalkov died in 1933, leaving behind a story that wasn't about what he lacked, but what he mastered. Number 14. Alexandra Patti. The circus has long been a showcase for astonishing and unimaginable feats, but few matched what Alexandra Patti accomplished in the early 1900s. And we're not kidding. He was the man who walked on his head. Like for real. Alongside his brother Felix, Patti trained as an acrobat in Paris's Latin Quarter. There, he stunned classmates with what one paper called his ability to reverse the order of nature by walking upside down. At first it hurt, he admitted in 1905, and I nearly quit. But I pushed through. Now it doesn't hurt, and I don't even know what a headache feels like. Patti performed without any head protection and refused extra padding, aside from a thin carpet. He said cushioning ruined his balance. After 3 years of painful practice, he debuted the act in 1904. He walked down 9 narrow steps from atop a 12-foot table, balancing on his skull the entire way. Within years, he was touring America with Ringling Brothers, billed as the man who walks on his head, earning more than a bank president. Number 13. Sylvester the Mummy. In the 1930s, guests visiting one doctor's home were in for a shock. This is because beneath a sofa cushion lay Sylvester, a fully mummified man preserved in glass. Found in 1895 near Gila Bend, Arizona, Sylvester had a gunshot wound to his side. With no burial, the desert dried him out, preserving everything from his mustache to his blue eyes. He spent decades touring as a sideshow attraction, making appearances at expositions and even a barbershop in Yuma. One promoter even claimed he was John Wilkes Booth. After a stint on a doctor's couch, Sylvester returned to sideshow life and ended up at Seattle's Ye Olde Curiosity Shop in 1955, where he's been displayed ever since. CT scans later revealed that his organs, including his brain, were still intact. Arsenic traces suggest he may have been preserved by an experimental embalmer. Some believe he was once exhibited by conman Soapy Smith under the name McGinty. Whoever he was, Sylvester's death launched a second, even stranger life. Number 12. Dr. Ding. As a child, you might have stared in awe at those Guinness records. The tallest man, the shortest woman, and the people with impossibly long fingernails. But before Guinness made it famous, one man in Foochow had already turned his fingernails into a monument of devotion. Known as Dr. Ding, he grew 3 incredibly long fingernails, each with symbolic meaning, at the request of his dying mother. She passed while he was still a baby, and her wish became his life's vow. One nail represented heaven, one earth, and the last Confucius. Ding's nails grew so long that they became a disability. He needed help with everyday tasks. Servants had to wash his face, braid his hair, and assist him constantly. But to him, it wasn't a burden. It was sacred. Unlike today's fame seekers, Dr. Ding's gesture was rooted in tradition, belief, and deep filial piety. He didn't do it for likes. He did it because promises, no matter how inconvenient, meant everything. Number 11. The Blazek sisters. Since their creation, Ouija boards have been blamed for everything from ghost sightings to bizarre prophecies. But in 1922, one prediction was eerily accurate. Just days before the death of Rosa and Josefa Blazek, famous conjoined twins, Carrie Hodecker of Missouri asked her Ouija board for a reading. It told her one sister would die at 2:25 p.m. and 8 seconds. Josefa passed at 2:35. Rosa died minutes later. Born in 1878 in Czechoslovakia and joined at the lower spine, the sisters lived full, public lives. Rosa, the dominant twin, often led the way, literally and otherwise. They performed across Europe and America as the Bohemian Twins, and Rosa gave birth in 1910. A marriage was blocked by the courts, as it would legally bind both women. By 1922, illness struck. Rosa fell ill with jaundice, and Josefa, despite being otherwise healthy, followed. Doctors considered separation, but Rosa refused. "If Josefa dies, there's nothing left for me," she said. Minutes later, she followed her sister into death. What do you think about them? Number 10. Fred Walters. Fred wasn't always blue. In his early years, he served as a brave captain in the British Army and looked like any other ordinary man in uniform. But when doctors prescribed silver-based medication to treat a medical condition, his skin began to change. First his fingers, then his entire face, until eventually everything turned blue. Argyria isn't rapid, but it's irreversible. The more he consumed, the deeper the shade became. When people began offering money just to look at him, he leaned into it. Fred took more silver, not to heal anything, but to become bluer. Ringling Brothers gave him a spot on stage, and he became known as the Blue Man. It was the color that drew the crowds, but over time, the silver wore him down. By the time he died in 1923, even his organs were stained the same cold hue as his skin. Behind the curtain, he was a husband and father. But in the ring, he was the man who turned himself into a blue spectacle. Number 9. Heinrich Haag. Heinrich Haag earned the name the India Rubber Man, and anyone who witnessed his act instantly understood why. His skin stretched unnaturally, pulling 7 inches away from his ribs, his neck, and his sides. With just a few quick tugs, he could mold it into wings, giving himself the eerie silhouette of a human bat. Doctors called it abnormal. Promoters called it a gold mine. Haag came from Munich and spent years performing across Europe's vaudeville and circus circuits, leaving audiences stunned by a man who could reshape himself into something nearly unrecognizable. There were no special effects, no disguises. His condition, now recognized as a severe form of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, made him naturally elastic in ways most couldn't even imagine. Away from the spotlight, Haag was known to be quiet and private, rarely giving interviews or seeking fame. His unusual body made him a spectacle, but his reserved nature never quite fit the stage. He was just a broken man, but the world didn't care. Number 8. Robert Aitken. Robert Aitken's talent was surprisingly simple but utterly jaw-dropping. He could remove his hat with a double backhand motion, flipping his arms in a way that seemed to ignore the limits of anatomy. Audiences were stunned every time. His flexibility appeared almost impossible, as if his joints weren't bound like everyone else's. Some thought it was trained contortion. Others assumed he had a rare joint condition that gave him unnatural mobility in his shoulders and elbows. Either way, Robert turned that single, bizarre motion into a trademark act. He didn't rely on makeup or flashy gimmicks, just that surreal, fluid move that made people laugh and squirm at the same time. Over time, he gained a loyal following on the sideshow circuit, performing in packed tents and variety halls. Off-stage, he was gentle and even-tempered, known for his light sense of humor. Unlike many of his peers, he wasn't mocked. His strange gift was entertaining, not disturbing. His fame came from precision, grace, and a body that refused to follow ordinary rules. Number 7. Alfred Pilgrim. Limbless performers were once a sideshow staple, but before CeeLo the Seal Boy or Frida Pushnik, there was Alfred Pilgrim. Born with severely underdeveloped arms and legs, his exact condition is unknown. But by 1890, he was already touring as the armless and legless boy. Despite his physical limitations, Pilgrim stunned crowds with his ability to thread needles, write with grace, and perform feats others thought impossible. He toured with a manager, performing alongside acts like Big Mary, The Woman Mountain, Strongman C.P. Blatt, and William Wells, the man with the iron skull. Pilgrim was described as cheerful, clever, and genuinely entertaining. Not just a novelty, but a talent. In 1918, while working with Barnes's Circus, he arrived at the Los Angeles County Courthouse to register for military duty. Onlookers stared in disbelief as he signed his name using a stub near his shoulder. A newspaper described his penmanship as the best scribe in the house. Drafted or not, he had already earned respect. Number 6. Karl Hermann Unthen. Karl was born in East Prussia in 1848 with no arms. At the time, many parents might have hidden or institutionalized a child like him. But Karl's father pushed him to live fully and independently, using only his feet. As a child, Karl learned to dress himself, eat, write, and eventually master intricate tasks. He shuffled cards, lit cigarettes, and even taught himself to play the violin. He was eventually invited to perform in Vienna for Johann Strauss himself. Unthen traveled and performed widely, not as a curiosity, but as a serious musician. He later toured military hospitals during World War I, giving concerts and speaking to amputees to show that life didn't end with the loss of limbs. Unlike many in the sideshow world, Karl secured financial independence, wrote his autobiography, The Armless Fiddler, and died at 80. His life blurred the line between sideshow and stage. He wasn't just a spectacle, he was living proof that talent doesn't need symmetry. Number 5. The Great Lafayette. The Great Lafayette built his entire career on illusion, and it eventually cost him everything. He started out by imitating Ching Ling Fu, blending magic with eerie, dramatic performances. Over the years, he evolved into a full-scale theatrical magician. His most famous act, The Lion's Bride, ended with a live lion morphing into Lafayette himself. Crowds couldn't get enough. But during a show in Edinburgh on May 9, 1911, tragedy struck. A stage lamp tipped over, the set caught fire, and chaos tore through the theater. Most of his animals died. So did 11 people. And so did Lafayette. Ironically, he had ordered all the backstage doors locked to protect his secrets, trapping everyone inside. Days later, as officials prepared his burial, they discovered it wasn't him in the casket. It was one of his stage doubles. The real Lafayette was found curled beneath the stage. His illusions didn't just dazzle the world, they survived him. He didn't disappear in smoke. He burned inside it, sealed within the magic he created. Now let's move to number 4, the electric chair. Looking to spice up your living room with something truly unforgettable? How about a 1940s-era electric chair used in sideshows? One such piece went up for auction in 2021, part of a bizarre collection from Dave and Mary Jane Price, longtime circus historians and collectors. Their archives included circus posters, oddities, and memorabilia once displayed at the legendary Egyptian Hall Museum. Among their archived sideshow stars was Alfred Pilgrim, who reappears in a 1891 Pittsburgh Dispatch ad beside acts like Big Mary and the Iron Skull Man. Pilgrim's act was no gimmick. He was truly armless and legless, yet could sign documents, thread needles, and perform daily tasks using only his shoulder stubs. In fact, in 1918, during World War I, Pilgrim registered for the draft in Los Angeles. A reporter recalled, holding the pen within the stub near his shoulder, he wrote his name instantly and in grand style. While no records confirm a military role, Pilgrim had already conquered the impossible on his own terms. Number 3. Dagmar Rothman. Dagmar Rothman, better known by stage names like The Great Waldo, The Regurgitating Geek, and The Human Ostrich, built an entire career around one bizarre ability: controlled regurgitation. Born in Germany in 1920, he could swallow objects, coins, live frogs, jewelry, goldfish, and bring them back up intact, in sequence, and on command. He worked with Ripley's Auditorium in New York in the 1940s, where he became a fixture in the world of shock performance. Audiences were split between amazement and nausea, especially when he gulped down live animals. They called him the human ostrich because of how indiscriminately he could swallow. Offstage, Rothman's personal life was far less controlled. After a breakup with a woman he loved, he took his own life by inhaling gas in his home. Though his death was quiet, his act left a lasting impression. In an era when sideshow stunts were often exaggerated, Waldo's was disturbingly real. He didn't pretend to be anything crazy. He just swallowed it whole. Number 2. Maria Spelterini. Maria Spelterini lived on the edge, literally. In 1876, she became the first and only woman to cross the Niagara Gorge on a tightrope. But one crossing wasn't enough. She did it again with baskets tied to her feet, again with her wrists and ankles shackled, and once more completely blindfolded. Crowds gasped, but Maria didn't chase applause. She performed for the thrill, for those impossible moments when balance felt like flight. Before Niagara, she toured Europe. Afterward, she moved through Russia, France, and South America. In 1877, a stunt in Argentina nearly ended her life. She recovered and stepped back onto the wire. By the early 1900s, she quietly exited the spotlight and passed away in 1912. History let her name fade, but her courage never did. Number 1. Mungo Lark. Mungo Lark, known to the world as the Wild Spotted Boy, didn't hail from jungles or any mythical tribe. He came from humble beginnings and a rare skin condition called vitiligo. It blanketed his body in dramatic patches of light and dark skin, forming patterns that mesmerized and baffled Victorian audiences. Promoters cooked up outrageous stories, claiming he'd been captured from a tribe of spotted Africans, a racist fantasy that packed tents. But those who actually encountered him described a soft-spoken, thoughtful young man, more puzzled by circus life than dazzled by it. Behind the phony wild boy persona was someone simply trying to survive in a world that cashed in on difference. Mungo's striking skin made him a sensation under the spotlight, but left him isolated beyond it. Long before anyone understood vitiligo, he carried the weight of a lie. What made him stand out was never savage or strange. It was human and painfully, heartbreakingly real. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe for more stories like this. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon.